Hi there, I'm Lou.
That was a bit quick.
Okay.
I only get sat down.
Okay.
Okay. Hi there, I'm John.
And I'm Lou. And our title for this video is The Secret Shame of Living with a Problem Drinker. I think we want to pick up on two words. One is secrecy and the other is shame. It's likely if you're watching this video that you're probably keeping an eye over your shoulder because there's two people that you don't really want to know, or two different sorts of groups you don't want to know. You probably don't want to know your partner, don't want them to know that you're actually watching this. Can we do this again?
I think we should.
Yeah.
And the other one is the thought police.
Who's the thought police?
Yeah.
Who's the thought police?
No idea.
Okay.
Anyway.
Try again.
Okay.
After you try. You start.
I'll interrupt. Okay. Serious. Hi there, I'm John.
Hi, and I'm Lou. This video is called The Secret Shame of a Problem Drinker. If you're watching it, well done, because I've lived this secret shame of a problem drinker. There were two things that I really didn't want to happen. One is I didn't want my partner to ever see me appearing to be talking or finding out information about his drinking, because he denied a lot of it all the time.
Of course.
And the other was that other people might see me watching a video, The Secret Shame of a Problem Drinker, the kind of stigma of kind of people knowing what's going on. Why is there such a stigma?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that's why we call our website Bottled Up.
Yeah.
Because it's about bottling everything up and hiding it all.
Yeah.
Why is there such a stigma? It's a difficult one to say. I think people have a stigma about anything which is abnormal.
Yeah.
You know, if it's not within the normal sort of range, then people feel sort of quite shamed about that. You know, if they're too heavy, too thin, you know, too bright, too thick, you know, can run fast. Anybody who is at the margins, you know, too tall, too small, you know.
But can I make a point here?
Which is?
It's them being too. I mean, this is the intriguing bit. Actually, it's a problem out there, and yet I know that I felt really, really ashamed over here, as if some way I was responsible for the behaviours going on.
Well, I think there are two answers to that. One is that, you know, I mean, me as a drinker, if my wife felt that she was responsible, then I actually agreed with her. Because I thought she was responsible as well, you know, and I reinforced that. Yeah. So that's part of the reinforcement is, hey, it's all your fault anyway. Yeah. So I think there's that. And I think the other part is that everybody wants a perfect marriage. And if it's not perfect, then that feels rather shameful. Yeah. Because, you know, there's only two of you involved in this marriage, you know, and if he or she is not to blame, then maybe it's you that's to blame. Or at least contributing to it. But I think it's the, you know, the old adage that the things that go on behind lace curtains. You know, nobody knows what goes on in there, but we all have this idea that everybody else's marriage is perfect, or everybody else's relationship is perfect. Therefore, if mine isn't, what is it about me? And maybe I deserve this. Maybe I deserve it. And I think, you know, by the way, you don't. You know, absolutely not. You do not deserve it. But I think we get into that kind of victim mentality. Yeah. And I think that's part of the shame that goes along with it. I
think those are really good points, and I think two things go on, and it's really helpful to understand this in your situation, is that there's a discount going on, a minimising, and then there's a kind of a building up. And what your drinker will do is he will minimise, or she will minimise their problem, but also will maximise anything that they feel, the implication being, well, what do you expect, you know, you nag me all the time, you don't love me, you don't respond to me in bed anymore, and if it wasn't for that, then I wouldn't be drinking. And I wasn't exactly those sorts of things, but there was this subtle inference all the time that I was failing in some way, which meant that he was retreating into the bottle. And it's very powerful, very, very powerful.
It's extremely powerful.
Yeah, and in the end you begin to feel as if you have done something wrong. The other thing is you feel in some way that you should be able to control it. I think people come to our websites kind of looking for the fairy dust or the magic solution, where they can do the one thing they haven't done yet to fix their drinker, and therefore they will have actually fixed the problem. But of course the real key to fixing the problem is in the alcoholic themselves.
I mean, I remember my wife, bless her, you know, as we got married, and she turned around to me and said, "Well, you'll change now, won't you?" And I thought, no, you know. I had to admire her optimism, but it wasn't going to happen, you know. And although I did change, but it was for the worse. I got worse, you know, rather than better. But I think the other thing is that you call this secret shame, and I think the two go together. There is a, you know, they intermingle. You know, the more secrecy, the more shame, the more shame, the more secrecy. You know, and it's as you feel ashamed, then you stop telling people about it. You know, you don't tell people in the street, "Oh, by the way, have you heard, you know, what is it, my man's an alcoholic?" I don't think so. That's not, you know, guess what happened to us today, you know. You just don't do that. So it becomes more and more and more secret, you know, and you become the person behind the lace curtains. You become the person who's not telling anybody. And unfortunately, if you're invited to places, you know, maybe you don't want to go. Why do you not want to go? Because he or she is going to get drunk, and then they're going to make a fool of themselves, and then it's going to come back and you and their people will look at you pityingly, and all of these things. This is what all goes on in the head. It's not necessarily true. Yeah.
And it may be good actually to, first of all, if you're listening to this video, then you are taking some steps coming out of secrecy. And again, if you come to Bottled Up, we kind of lead people gently step by step, because we recognise that you're probably very isolated and finding very fearful about speaking out, and we talk about good people to speak out to. Probably the people you're closest to, if you don't mind us saying, probably are fully aware of what's going on or partially aware.
Usually. And
they may be very relieved if you pluck up the courage to talk to them, so that they can talk about what has probably become for them the elephant in the room. And so again, through Bottled Up, we kind of take you by the hand a bit with that one. The other thing is we have a forum, and maybe one of the first places you can disclose to the very people who won't judge you, who won't feel ashamed that you talk, but will think that you're being really, will be really proud of you, because they're walking the same walk as you.
Precisely.
As is the case that we truly understand this whole issue, really. Even 2 years after my husband's death, and when I was writing the book, because we have a book called Bottled Up, I felt guilty, even as if he was kind of from his grave, kind of looking at me for talking about it. I'm obviously better about it now. So don't stay.
Couldn't I just say that, you know, as I was saying, you know, with the secrecy and the shame being wrapped around each other, you know, the more secret you are, the more shameful, and vice versa.
Yeah.
As you start to come out of the secrecy, then the shame starts to disappear as well. You know, but they're intertwined.
And very few people really in this situation are likely to judge you. In fact, they actually may be feeling very, very sorry for you, quite compassionate, watching you sometimes in perhaps social situations with your drinker. So you might find that there's a lot less judgment out there. But there are people, sadly, I have to say, not everybody is going to respond properly. And again, we talk about this in Bottled Up. The thing about trust is learning who you can trust with what. And if you do decide to disclose, then choose a place where you're safe, and you will have people reflect back, so that gradually you can take small steps out of isolation, small steps out of shame. But it's possible to walk away from both of those, and we really want that for you, because both of them do wrap themselves around, and they are neither helpful for your situation or for you. So come out of the secret shame. come into our community,
Yes.
come and share your problem, and hear from us the different many things that we've put together to help you in your situation. We care about you, and this is we're here just because we've walked it, and we want to help you walk that journey too. Nice to talk to you. Bye.
Bye. And zero.
Yeah, that'll do me that one.